Karen Clark spent 11 years married to a man who didn't exist. She knew his coffee order. She knew the sound of his laugh. She knew he coached their son's little league team every Saturday. What she didn't know was that every Tuesday through Thursday, her husband drove 3 miles east, walked into a different house, and became a completely different person, with a different name, a different family, and children he'd given almost identical names to hers. No one found out until the day he died. And what came after his death was worse than the lie itself. 14 years, that's how long Karen and David had been married. They met at a friend's barbecue when she was 26. He was the kind of man who remembered your coffee order after hearing it once. They married within a year, bought a house in the suburbs, had 2 kids, David Jr. and Emily. David worked as a management consultant. The job took him away 2, sometimes 3 days a week, but when he was home, he was fully present. He coached David Jr.'s little league team. He made pancakes every Sunday. Their neighbors called them the couple on the block everyone wanted to be. Karen trusted David completely. He handled the finances, the mortgage, the investments, the taxes. She never questioned it. He was good with numbers, and she was busy raising 2 kids. When he traveled for work, he always called at 9 p.m. sharp, always picked up when she called. He bought her flowers on random Tuesdays, not just anniversaries. Their friends used to joke that Karen had won the husband lottery. Her mother said she'd married the last good man in America. And Karen believed it. She had given David something most people guard carefully, her complete, unconditional trust. She had no idea what that trust was hiding. Looking back, the signs were there. David carried 2 phones, one he said was for work. He kept the bank statements in a locked desk drawer, insisting it was just his system for staying organized. His consulting trips always fell on the same days, Tuesdays through Thursdays, almost without exception. Once, their daughter Emily found a child's crayon drawing stuffed into the pocket of David's briefcase. A stick-figure family, a dad, a mom, and 2 kids, with the word Daddy scrawled across the top. David laughed it off, said a colleague's kid had made it for him at an office family day. Emily kept the drawing for a week. Karen threw it away without a second thought. Back at the funeral, the woman approaches Karen. She introduces herself as Rachel. Her voice shakes. She says she's sorry she didn't know about Karen until 3 days ago when David's name appeared in the obituary. Rachel says she's been with David for 11 years. 11 years. She has 2 children with him. Their names are Daniel and Emma. Karen's children are David Jr. and Emily. Daniel and David, Emma and Emily. The names aren't a coincidence. David gave his children in both families nearly identical names, a calculated strategy so he'd never slip and call the wrong child by the wrong name. Karen's legs give out. Someone catches her. The funeral director asks if she needs water. The next 72 hours change everything. Karen goes through David's home office like a forensic investigator. Behind the locked desk drawer, she finds bank statements showing monthly payments of $1,400 to an apartment. The address is 3 miles from their house. 3 miles. For over a decade, David maintained a second household close enough to walk to. The statements go back 11 years. That's more than $168,000 in rent alone. But it's the calendar that breaks her. Color-coded. Blue for Karen's family, red for Rachel's. Every Tuesday through Thursday, red. Every weekend, blue. School plays, doctor's appointments, birthdays, all meticulously tracked in both colors. David hadn't been living a double life. He'd been running one. Grief is supposed to follow a pattern. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Karen felt all of them simultaneously. She was grieving a man who never existed. The David she loved, the pancake-making, flower-buying, little league coaching husband, was a character he performed. She couldn't even mourn him properly because there was no him to mourn. And then Rachel called. They spoke for 2 hours. Rachel had loved David too. She had grieved too. She had trusted him completely too. Rachel described the same man, charming, attentive, present. 2 women mourning the same ghost. Both had been faithful. Both had been deceived. The only person who had ever known the real David was David himself. Karen hired a forensic accountant, then an estate attorney. The deeper they dug, the more they found. David had been diverting roughly 40% of his income to the second household, nearly $2,000 a month beyond the rent. Neighbors in Rachel's neighborhood knew David by a different first name. He'd introduced himself as Michael. He had a separate wardrobe at Rachel's apartment, separate toiletries, a separate life. But the real bombshell came from the insurance company. David had 2 life insurance policies, one naming Karen as beneficiary, one naming Rachel. Combined, they totaled $750,000. He had planned for his own death, and even then, he couldn't choose between his two lives. 3 weeks after the funeral, Karen and Rachel meet face to face. Not at the cemetery, not through lawyers. A coffee shop halfway between their homes. They sit across from each other, two women who shared the same man for 11 years and never knew the other existed. They compare notes. The lies are identical. The same excuses for travel. The same phone routine, 9 p.m. calls always picking up. The same random Tuesday flowers. David had been running a script. Word for word, gesture for gesture, duplicated across two households. And then Rachel says something that changes everything. "I don't want to fight you. He did this to both of us." Karen agrees. They hire the same attorney. They will face the estate together. DNA testing confirmed what everyone already knew. The children in Rachel's family, Daniel and Emma, were biologically David's. 4 children from one man, split across 2 families, living 3 miles apart. All 4 were now legal heirs to his estate. The court proceedings laid David's deception bare. Every hidden account, every diverted paycheck, every fabricated business trip, all of it entered into public record. Colleagues who had admired David read the filings in disbelief. Friends stopped calling Karen to offer condolences and started calling to ask if it was true. The man everyone had respected was revealed, piece by piece, as a calculated fraud who had built his entire adult life on a foundation of systematic lies. The estate settlement took 18 months and cost $95,000 in legal fees, but it ended fairly. Both families received their share. The insurance companies investigated and ultimately honored both policies. Karen got the house. Rachel got the apartment and the remaining financial assets. The children's inheritance was placed in trust, and then something unexpected happened. The 2 sets of children met, Daniel and David Jr., Emma and Emily. Half-siblings who shared a father but had lived parallel lives 3 miles apart. They discovered they had the same taste in music, the same stubborn streak, the same laugh. Nature, it turned out, was louder than the lie. David's karma wasn't dramatic. There was no courtroom showdown, no confrontation where he broke down and confessed. His punishment was something worse, the complete erasure of who he pretended to be. No one mourns the real David because no one ever met him. The man Karen loved was fiction. The man Rachel loved was fiction. Even his children will grow up knowing their father as the man who lied to everyone he claimed to love. Karen and Rachel don't speak often now, but they share something no one else can understand, the experience of loving the same ghost. Karen's only lesson from 14 years of marriage to a stranger, the deepest betrayal isn't the lie itself. It's the years you can never get back.